Welcome everybody. Today's webinar, entitled Sparx Systems Response to Ensure Business Continuity for Our Customers, is brought to you by the Sparx Global webinar presentation. So, Sparx Global encompasses Sparx companies from all around the world that facilitate services, support, localization, training, mentoring, and more around Sparx Systems tooling. If the content from today or any one of the series piques your interest, please reach out to Sparx Services in your region and they'll be more than happy to help. You can find their contact details on sparxsystems.com/partners sparxservices.html. The Sparx Systems software suite, which comprises of Enterprise Architect, Pro Cloud Server, WebEA and Prolaborate, offers a way for isolated workers to access their organizational centralized repositories using home-based internet connections and to continue working as though they are still in the office. They can continue contributing their expertise to strategic business and technical projects and collaborating and sharing ideas in real time. So in today's session, we're going to have a look at that. And this includes exchange of knowledge, managing projects, including tasks, deliverables, entering into multi-user discussions, decision makings, reviews, and delivering outcomes for the business, even though they may be isolated and at home. And here at Sparx Systems, we're all using centralized repositories. Many of us are working from home, and it allows us to share messages, to communicate using the calendar tools, model mail, and using the Pro Cloud Server and Enterprise Architect to share and work together. So today we have Nizam on the line, and I'm not sure whether Ryan will also be joining us, and we're going to go through and have a presentation and a discussion. We'll talk about how to submit questions, and at the end of the session we'll have a Q&A. Please note that audio is muted for all participants, and you'll be able to type your questions to the host, and if we can't answer all questions live, we'll follow up offline. So simply enter the text into the text box and hit send, and that'll come through to myself as a host, and we'll be able to ask questions. And if we don't get to them live, yes, we will follow up offline. But right now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to hand over to Nizam, who's going to present on Sparx Systems response to ensure business continuity for our customers.
Thanks, Scott. This webinar, we'll be looking at what Enterprise Architect Cloud Platform and Sparx Systems suite of products can do to help you stay connected with your work environment and continue your enterprise architecture efforts. We understand it's tough times, but without delving too much into the COVID-19 and all the effects that it has had in teams worldwide, which we all hear day in, day out, we'll quickly jump to the core problems we're trying to address and also look at what are the possible solutions that Sparx Systems offers. So I'll invite Ryan to give us an overview of the core problems that we are trying to address.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nizam. My name is Ryan Schmier from Sparx Services North America, and we're bringing this webinar today because over the last few weeks, our industry and our customers have been experiencing some challenges in terms of doing their jobs effectively in a remote working environment. So everyone's aware of the situation, don't need to go into that. But there are a couple of challenges that have been coming up time and time again, and things that we think that we can help with. So there's really two challenges people are having. The first challenge is architects are struggling to connect to their architecture tools and their models remotely from home. So the key issue they're facing here is a lot of companies have on-premise Sparx key stores and on-premise architecture repository databases. However, they may not have their network environment configured such to allow people to access those resources from remotely, either over VPN or some other network connectivity. So the first challenge people are having is access. How do I get to the tools I need to do my job effectively? The second challenge that people are bringing up is, okay, great, I've gotten connected, I've gotten access to my data, and oh no, I don't have a whiteboard. I can't stand there and talk to everyone. So people are faced with a challenge about a new way of working, about what does it mean to do architecture, do effective architecture remotely, and what are the tools and techniques that go along with continuing to provide the same level of architecture collaboration from a distributed environment that you could when you were in the office, in the conference room, collaborating with your peers and stakeholders. So those are the two problems that people are facing, and those are the things that we're going to talk about in this webinar today.
Thanks for setting the context, Ryan. Let me start by introducing the tools in the Sparx Systems ecosystem that lets us create a complete architecture overview. So the enterprise architecture tools from Sparx Systems will let us do the comprehensive modeling using Enterprise Architect the client, and it also has the right tools to integrate with all the other enterprise tools like Jira and Confluence, and also let us share and collaborate with the non-tech and non-IT users to make sure the information that's captured is effectively used in all contexts. So the suite of products include Enterprise Architect Client, the Pro Cloud Server, and the web publishing tools such as Prolaborate or WebEA. Enterprise Architect is the well-known modeling tool that we are all aware of. It's a standard supported modeling tool, and it has the ability to create diagrams, catalog artifacts, and have the interconnections modeled as well. And the Pro Cloud Server is the web service that allows fast and secure connections to the repository from anywhere. It could be even hosted in the cloud environment, and it also opens up the REST API to access the EA contents from an external tool. And the WebEA and Prolaborate are the web publishing tools that let us create curated views for the respective stakeholders to foster collaboration and have a way to get their feedback and incorporate that within the enterprise architect tools. So let me quickly step into the technical view of what a typical environment will look like. Behind the scenes, this is what your IT team or your infrastructure team would have taken to set up the enterprise architect and the cloud or the web tools that we spoke about in the previous slide. So there are at least a couple of application servers, a couple of database servers to support the EA repository, the Pro Cloud Server application, the WebEA application, the Prolaborate application, and so on. They would have configured all the firewalls and rules and ports to access the information, and also to enable this integration with other tools or Active Directory and things like that. So now the challenge is all these has been put through a lot of security, scrutiny, and a number of approvals would have been required to set up something like this. And quickly moving to a remote working environment without having enough time to do the VPNs and remote access capabilities would have let people kind of disconnected from the environment. And that's where enterprise architect infrastructure fully hosted and managed in cloud could come handy. A lot of people have been contemplating a move to the cloud platform for a long time, but the policies and the current work commitments would have always deferred it. But now could be a right opportunity to move the cloud platform, which has its own other benefits as well, like having a 99.9% availability, accessible across the globe in the same way and efficiency. So there is a lot of advantages of moving to the cloud as well. But in this scenario where people are disconnected from their in-house infrastructure, having a cloud environment will let your teams continue their modeling efforts without reverting back to the conventional Word or Excel kind of approach, or even reverting back to the EAP models. So we have two solutions that we have enabled. One is having your enterprise architect infrastructure on cloud, which primarily includes your floating key managers and the EA repositories, because these are this is the crux of the solution. And as long as you have your enterprise architect client installed in your machine, you'll be able to continue working on it. Or we also have a more comprehensive solution, which is the entire platform on cloud, which includes the Pro Cloud Server, the Prolaborate, the WebEA, and all the tools that are coming as part of the Sparx Systems offering. Our primary focus for the current scenario is to have your enterprise architect crux in cloud. And there are options for you to even get the thick client stream through AWS, but we're not getting into it right now because this session is primarily targeted to the people who have been using EA already, but having challenges in the current scenario to be able to connect to the infrastructure. We don't want them to revert back to the EAP or the file-based systems where you might have to spend a whole lot of time to consolidate the individual work and then kind of reconcile and merge them into the product environment. That's going to be very difficult, and that's what we are trying to address. And what's involved in setting up a cloud infrastructure? As you could see in the slide up here, we take the full responsibility to set up your EA repositories, your Pro Cloud Server, your integrations, your publishing tools, your SSL certificates, and everything that's related to the infrastructure. All we expect at the moment is do you have your EA application installed in your machines, and you should be just able to connect to the connection details that we would share and then continue working. You can even preload some of your data into this repository and let your teams continue working on that. And then when you have your product environment back, you'll be able to reconcile it to the to your original product environment. And what are the steps involved to get started? We have just tried to make it really, really simple to get you started. You just visit the prolaborate.sparxsystems.com website, and there's a small form where you could share your requirements by specifying your team size and what you're currently working on. And you can also get some contents preloaded or your floating licenses managed by us. That's optional step, but if you want to share them, that's fine as well. And once that's done, we will have your environment up and ready in less than 24 hours, which will let you continue working in the immediate next day.
One of the key challenges people have is accessing their on-premise infrastructure because of the way things are configured, and your IT department may be challenged with granting access to other business critical systems right now. We have two solutions available to help. Both are cloud-hosted solutions. The first one is EA on the cloud, which is migrating your enterprise architect, repository, and key store up into the cloud and getting you working as quickly as possible. We can get you going in as quick as a day on that one. The second one is the full Sparx architecture platform in the cloud, which includes not only EA repository, but also Pro Cloud Server, Prolaborate. It's kind of the full enterprise suite of tools. That's also available as a fully hosted cloud option. Both of these are things that you might use, both in a crisis situation as well as in normal day-to-day activities. A lot of companies are sitting here saying, hey, you know what, I'd like to do cloud migration in my architecture platform. Well, if you've been putting that project off for a while, now might be a good time to get it done, and we can help you accelerate that timeline and get it done fairly quickly. And so what Nizam was explaining was all it takes is going to the prolaborate.com website. There's some questionnaires to go ahead and get started, and we can go ahead and get you set up. Again, like you mentioned, there's concerns around security, privacy, that sort of thing. A lot of those are answered in the FAQs on the website. If you have other questions specific to your company's requirements, you can reach out to the Prolaborate team or your local Sparx Services organization, and we can help answer those questions for you.
So just continuing from what Ryan mentioned, like the key benefits of getting your infrastructure hosted and managed in secure cloud environments is that you have all your repositories, which will let the entire team to connect and work instead of starting with individual EAP files or individual projects and merging them together once things are back to normalcy would be a nightmare. So you will have a repository that will still let you work as a team and do what you've been doing previously. You can also have your floating licenses. Most of our corporate clients, they would have a floating license key set up in their in their premises as well. And we've been hearing so many issues saying that they are not able to access their licenses and they are not able to continue working with EA. So we can even have your EA floating licenses managed in cloud, so you can just reuse your keys and continue working. And more than that, it's the most secure access powered by the Pro Cloud Server, because it's HTTPS enabled, and all your data is again having a two-factor authentication, because you also have the EA security on top of it. And then it's a robust cloud deployment. It's in the region that you or your team is located. So it's high available and it's really fast, because it's we make sure it's hosted in the region that the client is requesting from, which makes sure it's compliant to all the GDPR or all the security policies in that region. And it's always available 24/7, almost on and available anytime for you to work.
Now that we have seen what are the benefits of having your EA infrastructure on cloud, we'd also like to show you that we have also done our due diligence to understand the core problems that our users will be facing in trying to move to cloud. And one of the common problems that we keep hearing is that it's going to have a long process to get the procurements approved, but the work won't stop. And there are also other things such as security concerns. So the slide that you're seeing kind of highlights what are our answers to some of the core problems. So what we are trying to say is you can start now and continue working as you're working on your procurement process alongside, so you can pay later once your approvals are through. And even in the worst case, if your approvals doesn't go ahead, that's not a problem. You can just back up all the data that you've been creating, and then you can cancel your subscription anytime. And regarding the security policies, this is not the first time we are doing this support or infrastructure as a service. We've been doing it for a while now, and we've got all the best practices and ISO standard compliances in place, and we use the most secure AWS instances in the region. We make sure that the GDPR and all the other information compliance is also followed. So that the more documents you need, you can always write an email to us, and we'll be able to supply those documents to you as well. So with that said, I would like to take a closer look at the Sparx Systems tools that enables collaboration both in the thick client or between the architects, or also between the architects and the rest of the world using the web tools such as Prolaborate or WebEA. Let me start by discussing the tools for collaboration in the enterprise architect application. As you know, AA is known for its ability to let the team work in a collaborative manner. And so there's a central database in which everyone creates their models, and it has all the right tools to let the architects collaborate amongst themselves without having to revert back to the emails or any other forms of communications. And the first one being model discussions. So this gives an incredible ability for the architects to just select an artifact in the model and start a new discussion. So instead of you writing an email or something and referring to something in the model, you can just have the discussions going on within the enterprise architect application itself, and everyone who is also using the enterprise architect application to do the models will see the comments, and they can also reply to it, and the entire chat history is also stored as a reference.
And you have structured reviews within the tool as well. So if you want to verify the diagram or the model that you have created is fitting to purpose, you can conduct a review within the tool itself, and the central repository and the PCS will help you invite everyone using EA to review it. And I'm talking about the reviews and collaborations amongst architects who are good, who are the technical people who knows how to use EA. So these are tools within EA to let those collaborations happen. And then you also have the model mails. Like this is again within the tool to let you quickly share a diagram or a package or a component or a requirement to another modeler, and to get his feedback or comments within the with using the same repository and the same toolset itself. And then finally, we have the team library, which is also in Enterprise Architect, that will let you have all the shared resources commonly available for the entire team members. It could be user guides, or it could be a standards document, or it could be some kind of a specification, or it could be the project documentation from the past. Whatever it is, you can make them available within the team library so that people who are modeling can quickly refer to it. So these are some of the tools in EA that will help us to work as a team. But then above and beyond that, there are also the more the tools that will let even the non-technical and the non-EA people to work together and collaborate. And this is again the Prolaborate or the WebEA are the web-based tools that works on top of the Pro Cloud Server API. And this is the real game changer, as you know, because you are now in a position to even engage the people who are less technical or who are not that tech savvy, to start consuming the model and to make and to participate by providing their comments or feedbacks to the models that we are creating. So we have the Prolaborate, which is the collaboration platform targeted towards the non-technical people, which will be able to, which you can use to create curated dashboards or reports or graphs, or you can even simply share diagrams and invite people to collaborate using that. You can have gated reviews with a proper workflow to make sure people participate in it, and they get notified via emails like in the normal Outlook, and they can just click on a link and get taken to the exact diagram that you want them to look at, and they'll be able to collaborate or share their review comments. So that's an overview of the tools, and it's just the tools. We have been hearing from people that they are still skeptical of what's the right migration strategy, or how do I ensure that I break from my current infrastructure, go out and come back and continue with my environment. What kind of assistance is available? So I'll just let Ryan walk us through some of the additional support that is available for people. And to make sure that there's always some resource that you can tap into.
Thanks, Nizam. So recapping what Nizam just shared about how to use the Sparx platform to collaborate both internally and with your stakeholders while you're working remotely. Sparx Enterprise Architect provides a great platform for your architects to collaborate. So the key is having a centralized repository so your architects can work together on developing architecture models, refining them. This is really important, particularly if you've got to change some business processes to adapt to, I don't know, all your workers being at home. Very common situation. EA gives you the tools to do that. Pro Cloud Server gives you the tools with WebEA to share those models out and make those available so other people in the organization can see them, enabling you to publish them out through some of the other connectors, things like that, and publish your architecture data into other systems. Prolaborate takes it a step further in driving stakeholder discussions, reviews in the tool, so you can interact with your project and your business stakeholders about the architectures and about the processes that are changing for your organization. And you can do that without being in the conference room with someone. You can curate a set of architecture content in the tool, drive a discussion and a review around it, get the feedback from the stakeholders, make the changes, push it out, implement it within your organization without anyone ever having to come within 6 feet of someone else, which is great. So great set of tools to enable that level of collaboration. That's great. So you may need help getting from your on-premise system, getting access to your models again, getting into an environment where you can work. We can help you do that. Sparx Services organizations are here every day. We're working with companies to implement these platforms. Nizam mentioned some of the new cloud platforms. The Sparx Services organizations, both in North America and our partners around the globe, are here to help you get your architects working as quickly as possible. We understand how important it is that they are able to contribute to your organizations. So we can help you with data migration. We can help you getting the system set up. We can help you getting it configured to get it up and running quickly. The second thing we can do is once we get a system implemented for you, and get you up and running again, we can work with you to help your architects figure out how to better collaborate and work remotely. So collaboration for architects isn't just about having a set of architecture tools. We also understand that, hey, we're using GoToWebinar right now. And some people use Microsoft Teams or Zoom meetings or WebEx to collaborate within their companies. These are all tools that fit in the architect's toolbox to help them interact with each other and with their stakeholders. Sparx Services organizations are used to working remotely. We've got teams of architects who are experienced in doing remote architecture work, and we are available to help you with best practices and guidelines and mentoring for your architects in terms of how to do that. So we can help you understand how to leverage collaboration tools in your architecture practice. Another thing that we've had a lot of requests for in the last couple of weeks is companies have teams of folks working at home, and they realize there may be some training gaps. You may have some new users who need to get onboarded onto the platform and learn Enterprise Architect or learn to use Prolaborate. Sparx Services North America, as well as our partners around the globe, have remote training options. We just relaunched our EA 101, Introduction to Enterprise Architect class last week. And we've had a lot of interest in that. And that's a one-day course for new EA users to get them up to speed in modeling in a matter of a few hours, get them comfortable with the platform. We also have an Intro to Prolaborate course to teach you how to do those reviews, how to drive those discussions using the Prolaborate platform. But whether you're looking for basic training for your staff or whether you're looking for more advanced topics, Sparx Services organizations are here to address your skill needs of your organization. If you find you need some assistance beyond just a training course, and you really need somebody to be there with you and help you, one of the great offerings from all of the Sparx Services organizations is mentoring. Whether it's small group mentoring for a project team or just one-on-one with architects that need a little help, we can provide mentoring services to help people learn how to do architecture effectively without being physically present in the room with the stakeholders. This is a very popular thing that people are calling us every day now asking, hey, can you just come in and help? Can you get on the phone and give us some guidance and answer our questions? Absolutely, absolutely. And then the last area that the services organizations are really positioned to help you right now is in the technical support arena. The Sparx usage is global. Okay, there's companies that need to use it around the globe, and in times when you're just trying to get things up and running and get your business back and running, you may need some help getting reconnected to your system, configuring it to work well in a remote environment. The Sparx Services organizations can help you with system configuration, tuning, troubleshooting, all those great technical support things that you may need in a time like this. Many of the organizations have some sort of a premium technical support service, where we can set up an SLA and help desk type support for you if you need that in these times. Another thing that folks have been asking for lately is the idea of virtual office hours. So we do this for a number of our customers, which is we schedule a couple hour block of time, a couple times a month, where we're available for your staff to ask questions, whether they're technical questions, usage questions, best practice, or even just, hey, I'm trying to model this thing and I'm trying to figure out how to make it look better. Can you help? So, we offer office hour services to be able to answer some of those questions. So whether you're needing training support, mentoring, implementation stuff, technical support, the Sparx Services organization are the part of your support system from Sparx that's here ready to help you. So feel free to reach out to us either in North America, that's Sparx Services North America. There's also Sparx Services organizations around the globe.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Ryan. Just summarizing, like, you can always reach out. You can just drop an email to prolaborate@sparxsystems.com or visit our website to reach out to the partners for additional assistance. But we're just trying to convey that, there's all the tools, the platform, and the support that our customers would need to make sure that they continue working with their architecture repository and are in a position to go back or continue with what they've been doing just before the crisis kicked in.
Thanks, Nizam.
Great. And if you're interested in connecting with us at Sparx Services North America, the best thing to do is go to our website, sparxsystems.us, or send us an email at info@sparxsystems.us, and we'll be happy to have somebody get on a call and talk with you about what your needs are and how we can best help.
So I was hoping that I might be able to fire some questions to you both. So there's a question from Anthony talking about the cost of the EA 101 course and things like that. So I suppose this is targeted at Ryan. If people wanted to get a quote or wanted to get some information about how much it costs for some of these online courses, what's the best way forward?
The best way forward is you can either go to our website, sparxsystems.us. We have a page there about training offerings, and there's Introduction Enterprise Architect there. Or send us a note at info@sparxsystems.us. We'll be happy to talk with you about what your needs are. We do have a public course offering coming up in about a week, and we're going to be scheduling these every couple of weeks in terms of some public offerings if you just have one or two people. We also have private training offerings available if you've got a team and you want to do a private training offering just within your company. So, in terms of the training, we're actually discounting them right now to try and be as helpful as we can, because we know there's people at home and we want them to have access to training and resources. So, so I would encourage you to go to the sparxsystems.us website and check out the Intro to EA course. The upcoming public dates are posted there as well.
Thank you very much, Ryan. There's another question here from Gustavo, and I might do a bit of a follow-up with a question from Simon. So Gustavo says, does Sparx Systems Prolaborate require the Pro Cloud server? And there's also a question from Simon asking about some more details about the Pro Cloud server. And there was a question about, is EA the thick client? So Nizam, I was wondering if you could perhaps discuss where Enterprise Architect is used, where the Pro Cloud server is used, and where Sparx Systems Prolaborate is used.
So just going through those questions one by one. First, is Pro Cloud server needed or required for Prolaborate to work? Yes, the Pro Cloud server is the web service, or is the API that enables EA repositories to be exposed to the web tools and other tools. So yes, Pro Cloud server is required, but when you look at the prolaborate.com website or the Sparx Systems website, you'll see that it's kind of bundled together. So you just have to understand how many users do you expect to collaborate and review, and we'll be able to guide you on what's the best option to go for. And when I say the thick client software, yes, I am referring to the Enterprise Architect application that we would expect to be installed in the end user's machine. As I mentioned, I've taken this scenario and I'm talking about it because most of the audience that we are talking to at the moment are current users and they want something to quickly continue. There is also options in the cloud platform to have your Enterprise Architect software streamed through AWS as well. So, it could be a complete SaaS offering as well. But the scenario that I'm describing here is to have your enterprise architect client installed and then have your floating licenses and your repositories hosted on cloud. And to answer on the Pro Cloud Server question, Pro Cloud Server is that the service that acts as the glue between the repository, the web tools, and the other tools. So it's a web service and it's a REST API. It kind of lets external tools like Jira or ServiceNow or Confluence to access the underlying EA repository through REST APIs. It also acts as a platform to enable HTTPS connectivity to this to the underlying repository. Conventionally we used to connect to the EA repository through ODBC or OLEDB, the database connections, which is quite hard for establishing in an end user's machine. There's a lot of drivers or other setup required. Second, accessing through HTTPS is the most secure way because it's updated on a regular basis. The security levels are always enhanced, and HTTPS offers a more faster connection to the underlying repository as well. And all these are enabled by the Pro Cloud Server web service.
And I think it's worth mentioning, Nizam, that the Pro Cloud Server is optimized so that you get a nice quick response and that it helps deliver these models in a really fast and efficient manner. And so for me, when I'm looking at some of our resources here at Sparx Systems, it doesn't really matter whether I'm in the office or at home. It's very quite responsive and allows me to view those models and to communicate and to add comments and messages, and it's all very instantaneous. And from my perspective, I don't actually notice the difference whether I'm at home or at work because it all looks exactly the same within the shared model repository. Thank you very much. So I might just wrap things up now ever so briefly. So I'd like to thank Ryan and Nizam for their presentation today. So just a reminder that the Sparx platform offers a variety of different values and features. It allows you to maintain business continuity and productivity. It's secure and available via a HTTPS connection. It allows you to coordinate staff and manage resources. You can manage projects within Enterprise Architect using tasks and a number of deliverables, including built-in Gantt charts, Kanban, boards. It has team collaboration enabled, including discussions, chats, reviews, team libraries, and you have some browser-based access so that all people need from home is a web-based connection and they can see models, those data models that we were talking about, enterprise architecture models, systems, specs. Even at Sparx Systems, a lot of our marketing content, our documents, our processes, they're all modeled in Enterprise Architect and they're all available at the click of a button via the Sparx Systems tool suite. So we have a number of Enterprise Architect 15 webinars coming up. As always, if you have any suggestions, please email through to webinar@Sparx Systems. There's a few minor technical issues today, but I think most people will understand that most of the video and web conferencing tools around the world are being extensively used, and broadband's getting a bit of a hit. So thank you very much for your patience and for joining us today. Once again, it's great to have you on board. Thanks, Nizam. Thanks, Ryan. And did you have any final comments before we wrap up?
Yeah, my one final comment is in times of crisis that we're in right now, whether it's a natural disaster, a health crisis, or some sort of business disruption, your architects and the knowledge and skills and experience they have are valuable tools to help keep your business going, help you mitigate the risk, help keep your operations up and running, and help you emerge from this crisis healthier and more successful than you were going into it. From a Sparx perspective, we're here to enable your architects with the tools and training, best practices and support they need to do their jobs effectively. We're here to help. So if you need some help, reach out to Sparx Systems, to the Prolaborate team, to your Sparx Services organization. We are here to support the architecture community, and whatever you need, we're going to support you and help you get through this, because architects are essential resources for your companies.
Well, if there's no other comments, thanks very much. Appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. There'll be another session later today, and we will make the content in some form available on YouTube and on the Sparx Systems website. So just give us a little bit of time to put that together, so that if people would like to review this information, it'll be available online. So that's it from us. Thanks very much for your time, and look forward to seeing you again at a Sparx Global webinar in the future. Thank you and bye.